right, hello everyone. How's everybody doing? Hello Janica, you're starting to be that first person in line every time. It's good to see you. Welcome back, welcome back. Sorry guys, got a little frog in my throat here today. Should be all right though. Let's see, who's all joining us? Oh my gosh, lots of people. Oh, somebody from Trinidad. Nikki, welcome from Trinidad. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us. And everybody, welcome, welcome. Oh my gosh, so many names in there, too many names for me to keep reading here and filing at the same time, but welcome in everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Got lots of familiar names on there and some names that I'm not recognizing. So if you guys are new to our channel, welcome in. If you've been with us for a while, welcome in, welcome back. So thank you guys all for joining us today. I'm going to give you my preemptive spoiler alert here. If you have been seeing a lot of our videos and our demos and stuff, we've got our mystery boxes on our Black Friday sale going right now. And today I am going to be using some of the products from the mystery boxes. So hopefully I'm not spoiling your surprise, but hopefully we're going to give you some great education today. We're going to be working with some of our acrylics, and then I'm going to show you guys, a lot of you were asking to see all of the rest of the confettis, and so I'm going to show you guys those a little bit later. And we're also going to be working with a little bit of the Brook box, and that is our fun kind of a stamping kit. So we're going to be working with all of those different things today. So I've got my nails ready to go. Hopefully you guys are all ready to go. So let's jump in. No sense in wasting any time here. So we'll get started just by prepping. You know what? I'm going to prep 2 nails today. I think I'm going to show you 2 nails today. We've got a lot to cover today. So I'm just going to do the same prep on both of the nails, and then I will go through and kind of do the applications separately. But to prep, we're going to just start by pushing back those cuticles. This is our orange. It's not an orange wood stick. This is our rose gold magic wand. And again, this also comes in one of the mystery boxes. I can't remember which one, but Lulu, thank you so much. I appreciate that. We appreciate that here at Young Nails. Thank you so much. Let's see. So that was our magic wand, and we're going to start prepping the nails with our electric file. And I'm going to take out this X-Cut carbide. So a carbide bit, guys, if you take a look at that, the X-Cut carbide is a very coarse bit. This is not something that you want to be using on the natural nail. This is going to cause damage to that nail. It's going to thin it out. It's probably going to not feel so great. So you want to make sure you are definitely not using a carbide bit with that kind of a grit on it. What you want to use instead for prepping that natural nail is, let me take this one off here. This is an old sanding band. But what I've got on my e-file, this is the mandrel. Now, just by itself, the mandrel doesn't do anything. These little kind of lines in there, that's not for filing on the natural nail or anything. It's not for really filing anything. What that really is for is just to hold on to our sanding band. And let me grab a new sanding band here. You guys, I got to move some stuff around. I got too much stuff on my station again today, but that's okay. It's all good stuff. So we're going to grab a brand new sanding band, and this is just going to slide right over the top of that mandrel. Now, when you're working with the mandrel and sanding band, the mandrel, that metal piece inside, that is sanitizable and disinfectable. So make sure that you are always sanitizing that, disinfecting that according to your state board or whatever your local governing practices are. But then that sanding band that I just slid on here, this is something that you would use this for one person and then throw away. So it's a one use, it's not sanitizable and disinfectable. Just toss it when you are done with that client. Now I'm going to turn my e-file on to about 5,000 RPMs, and we're going to work right up around the client's cuticle area here. Just kind of circular motions. I'm just kind of doing a little bit of a circular motion, coming right up around that cuticle area. And if you take a look at this really close, I'm really just kind of coming from this top right corner up and around to that top left corner. I'm not trying to get all the way from down on the side, all the way up and over. I'm not really there yet, okay? I'm just working right up around that cuticle area. And then once I get from that right side to the left side, my bit is at kind of a diagonal to the nail. So I'm just going to work kind of at that diagonal to remove the shine from the rest of the surface of that nail. Now, if you're a newbie, if you're just a kind of a beginner and you're learning how to use that electric file, this is the technique that I want you to use. I want you to kind of work a little bit slower and just come across the nail and pick up your bit, come across the nail, pick up the bit. So that's going to just go through, again, kind of at that diagonal, so corner to corner. And then once you get a little bit more comfortable with that technique, then you'll be able to work a little bit faster and you'll be able to just kind of feather that bit all the way through the rest of that nail. Okay, let me prep the second nail here. So same thing, working up around that cuticle area and then just lightly feathering all the way through to get all of that shine removed. And really what we're doing when we're removing shine is basically breaking up the surface oils in that nail plate and then just lightly giving it a little bit of texture, okay? If you need to get on those sides, rather than trying to come all the way down on the side like this, or all the way down on the side there, you can just kind of come in right with the top part of your bit on the left side, the bottom part of your bit on the right side, and that'll get those last little areas that maybe you didn't quite catch, okay? Let's see, Kimmy's asking, do you always have to put the mandrel bit all the way in, or does it matter? So when I'm working and I'm prepping, that's a great question, Kimmy. When I'm working and I'm prepping, I usually will put it almost all the way in. Sometimes I'll leave just a little bit of space right through here, maybe even that much. Just kind of, for me, it's easier to get that cleaned out a little bit more. But when you're working on longer nails, if you're working on longer nails, most of the time, like a long extension, like something maybe like mine or longer, when you're working to take down bulk, and we'll do this a little bit later in the demo, I usually will leave a little bit more space in there, because that way when you're working on a longer nail and you're trying to take down the bulk of the product from this direction, if you have your bit all the way down in there, it's going to bump that handpiece here. But by leaving that little bit of extra gap right through here, you've got a little bit more space to kind of work through through the arch of the nail that way. Okay, but we'll get to that when we do our filing and finishing. That is a great question. That's a great question. Guys, lots of good questions today. All right, so we've got our two nails prepped and ready to go. I am going to grab my brush here. We're going to dust off those nails, get all of that dust cleaned off of there, give us a nice clean surface. And then I'm going to grab my swipe. And whoops, sorry guys. Camera got in the way here. So swipe is our cleanser. That little blue liquid in the bottle here. We're going to pump a little bit of that onto, got to unlock that first. Unlock that and pump a little bit of that onto our brush. And swipe is going to clean the nail. It's going to kill any germs and bacteria that are on the nail. It's going to also help to get rid of any of that extra dust or any extra oils that may be on the nail, any contaminants, anything from that nail. I've seen a lot of questions asking, where do I get the bits? Where do I get the e-file? You guys, everything that I'm showing you today, everything that I'm using today, even these table towels, my electric file, these bits, everything that I'm showing you guys is from Young Nails. Youngnails.com is our website here in the US. For US and Canada, you can order on our website. And we've got our great, huge Black Friday sale going on right now. So a lot of these products, well, all of these products are going to be at a discounted price, so definitely check that out. Next product we're going to be using is our protein bond. And if you take a look really close there, you can see it says non-acid adhesion. So what that means is protein bond is a bonder. It's not a primer, so it doesn't have any of the methacrylic acid that a lot of other primers do. So with this, we're not going to worry about it burning the skin or irritating or anything like that, but we always want to make sure, even though it's not going to have that methacrylic acid to it, we want to use it carefully and away from the skin. So you'll notice when I pick up my brush, I kind of tap off the rest of it. So let me come in here a little closer. So again, I tap off the extra, and then I start in the middle of the nail, and then I work out to the sides, and then I work back towards the cuticle area. So this is going to help to keep me from flooding that product onto that skin and onto that cuticle. Now I did say it's a non-acid bonder, But again, it still is a chemical, so we still want to make sure that we're keeping that product away from that skin and soft tissue, okay? Forgot where we're doing two nails here, you guys. So we're going to go through and do 2 coats of protein bond on both of these nails. When I'm working with acrylics or hard gels, enhancements like that, then I always go through and do 2 coats of protein bond. So I did two coats on the first nail. Normally what I would do is I would go through all 10 nails, put my first coat on, come back and do my second coat on all 10 nails. So that way they're just really good to go. Okay. All right, let's grab our forms. So today we're going to be doing 2 nails, and you guys, when I'm working on the trainer hands, I usually just do 1 form at a time, because sometimes as you're working on one nail, on the trainer hands, they can kind of pop off a little bit. On a real client, I would put my forms on all 10 fingers, or even at least 5 fingers at once, and then you can go on to the next hand. But on our trainer hands today, I'm just going to do 1 at a time. So we're going to take 1 form. And I'm going to take that little tab out of the center. I'm going to flip our form over, and I'm going to put that little tab right on the back. That way it's going to give our form a little bit more kind of a firm feeling, a little bit more stability to it. And then we're going to turn that form around, and let me come in nice and close so you can see these little silver tabs. So these 2 tabs right here on the end, we're going to just kind of fold that form in half. Don't crease it down the center at this point, but just kind of fold that so it kind of gives a rounded shape. And then we're going to pinch those 2 tabs together as evenly as we can get them. So that way our form is going to go on nice and straight, which is going to make our nail go nice and straight. Okay, now we're going to be doing kind of an almond shape, maybe a long almond today. So I'm going to kind of pinch that end of my form together. If you want a really long nail, you can just pinch right at that free edge, right at that end of the form. If you want it just a little bit shorter, you can keep pinching that form down just a little bit to get a little bit shorter length. Okay, I'm going to open up my top perforation here, and then we're going to get this form right up underneath the nail. I'm going to start with it at just kind of a slight downward angle. I'm not just going to jam that right up underneath that natural nail. I'm going to start at that kind of downward angle, catch it right underneath that free edge, and then lift up at the end of my form. So just kind of rocking that form up until it comes right up underneath that nail and just kind of catches right under that free edge. Then I'll secure down on my sides. Now if we take a look, my form is kind of looking a little bit wide right through those sides there. Come underneath there, give that a good pinch, make sure that everything is nice and tight underneath there, and that's going to help to give you a really nice tight C-curve under the nail. And that tight C-curve is going to give you really good structure, okay? All right, let's grab our table towels. I'm going to get a couple of table towels here to wipe my brush on. And you guys, the towels that I'm using, it's just basically these same table towels that I have on my station here. I just cut them up into smaller pieces to make it easier to wipe my brush on. And you guys, here is the excitement. Again, this is my spoiler alert. We're going to be using our new cover Morganite. This is one of the colors that is in the mystery box, the acrylic mystery box. So we're going to be using that. This is super, super pretty color. Just kind of a almost, I don't know, it's not peachy, it's not pinky, it's kind of, I don't know, it's just a great nude color. So we're going to go with that today. I'm going to grab my acrylic brush here. Where's my acrylic brush? And you guys, we've got a couple of new brushes as well. We got the blinged out rose gold number 10. So this is a size 10 oval brush. It does come in those 2 pieces, so you can open it up. You've got that piece for the back for your handle and the cover. So that's going to be our brush that we're going to use today. I'm going to grab my monomer here. All right, so what we're going to do, looks like I got a little bit of product left in my Dappen dish here. I always want to make sure I clean that out. Start with fresh liquid, clean out your Dappen dish, and then we'll refill this with some fresh monomer. All right. And you guys notice that I am using my magic wand. I'm not touching that, that wipe with my hands. I don't want to get that product on my skin. With any chemical, you guys, you want to be very careful that you're not going to overexpose yourself to any chemical, okay? Especially if you're nail tech working in salon, you want to be doing this for a long time. And the more you come in contact with product, the more you get that on your skin, the more chance you are going to have of getting contact dermatitis or allergic reactions or things like that. So just be very cautious when you are working with your products. Make sure you're not touching anything. And the reason that I touched my brush to the top of my bottle as I poured it was so I didn't dribble down any of that product onto the bottle. So again, that's another safety technique to help keep product off of your skin, okay? All right, so we've got our powder here. We've got our nail prepped and ready to go. Now we're gonna pick up a pearl. Come in a little closer here for you to see. So we're going to pick up our pearl, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to press my brush down into that liquid, kind of releasing any air bubbles that may be in my brush. So I'm kind of just giving it kind of a little bounce almost into my Dappen dish. So kind of bouncing down in there. I'm going to lift up my brush. I'm going to tap the back side of my brush, and then I'm going to turn my brush over. I'm going to kind of press, and then I'm going to bounce into my powder. I'm going to take that pearl, I'm going to drain that pearl onto my table towel. What this is going to do is it's going to turn my pearl a little bit more into like a clay-like consistency. And let me show you what I mean by that really quick here. And then we'll get into the application because I know you guys are excited. So again, we're going to pick up our pearl. I'm going to press, I'm going to bounce, bounce. Now, if I were to just take that pearl, set that onto the nail just like this, do you see how fast that pearl is going to move and it's going to flow? That's going to just start to run down that form. Now, if I were to take that same pearl, again, we're going to press into our powder, bounce, bounce. If I take that same pearl, set my brush onto my towel and drain out some of that liquid, now if I set that onto my form, it's going to be more a clay-like form. So it's not going to run, it's not going to flow like this first pearl does. This one I'm going to have a little bit more control, and I can kind of move that product around. I can work that product and make that product move where I want it to go, okay? So again, with our free edge, we want a little bit more of that clay-like consistency. We want a little bit more control where our product is going. So let me change views here just a little bit. There you go. Now what I'm going to do is on our free edge, we're just going to pick up, I'm actually going to pick up a little bit smaller of a pearl than I did on that last one, because I'm not going to create a super, super long nail. So maybe about that size. Again, I'm going to drain out that extra liquid onto my towel. I'm going to set that pearl right in front of my natural nail. Give it a good press down, release that from your brush. I'm going to wipe out my brush. I'm going to use the middle part of my brush, kind of the fat belly part of my brush, press that out, and now I'm going to use the edge of my brush to bring those sides in and press that bulky area up into the corner. Use the side of my brush, press that in, up into the corner. Now I'm going to walk my brush all the way back across, pressing all the way back across to get a nice, smooth, even surface. Again, pressing in on the side, and walk that bulk back up into the corner. Walk that bulk back into the corner. Now at this point, I can start to kind of bring my product down to the end of my form, and we'll start to kind of form that more almond shape. So again, kind of pressing a little bit more on those sides, kind of tucking in on those edges to create more of that almond shape. Again, using a little bit more pressure with the belly of my brush, bringing that in on the sides, and bringing that down to a little bit more of an almond shape. And I think I'm actually going to pinch my form together just a little bit more here in just a second so I can get a really nice, a little bit tighter of a C-curve right towards that end, okay? All right, so this is just our extension. So all we're trying to do is just kind of create a platform to do our overlay on, okay? Now what we want to do, and you guys, I know I've got one little stray bristle. You guys can see there's that one little stray bristle that's poking out here. Sometimes, and I think what happened was when I put my brush cover back on, let me show you guys what happened here. Hold on. Come on back out. When I put my brush cover back on, I rolled my brush back to a point, but I think I caught one of those bristles and it just kind of separated. So when I put my brush cover back on, this one little bristle kind of poked out, so you can see that. So make sure that when you are putting those brush covers back on, that you really roll that brush to a really nice tight point so that you can get those little bristles back into shape and into place, okay? So I just kind of have to work that one back into place and it'll get there. All right, so let's come back to our nail. That was kind of a little side note, but it's an important thing to understand that your bristles are going to go back into place. It'll be okay. All right, for our next pearl, now what we're going to do is we're going to work from our cuticle through our arch to right about the center of our nail here, okay? Now this pearl, we actually want it to flow a little bit more. We don't want it that clay-like consistency that we had on our free edge here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to angle that finger down slightly so that I'm going to press my product down at my cuticle area here, and it's going to flow down the length of the nail. That way I don't have to really work that product and move that product. It's going to kind of do more of the work for me. So same thing, we're going to pick up our pearl. This time, instead of draining it out, we're just going to wait a couple of seconds until it looks smooth. Do you guys notice how it went from kind of that orange peel look to more of a pearl look? Let me show you guys one more time here so you can see. So keep an eye on the pearl, watch, and it'll turn from more of that orange peel look to more of a smooth pearl look. And once it is that more pearl look, that's when we're going to set it onto the nail. Okay, so just a couple of seconds, then we're going to set that down onto the nail. I'm going to give it a little bit of a press. Again, I'm going to wipe out my brush. I'm going to angle the finger downward, and I'm going to press out my cuticle area, and just let that product flow. Okay, press around those sides if you need to, tucking everything in on those edges. Let it flow. Once it stops flowing, you can lift up, and then you can just start to blend out just the edge of the pearl, okay? I'm not trying to blend from all the way back at that cuticle area, just trying to blend out so that I don't have a really big ridge right here at the edge. I have a little bit of a ridge, that's okay, it's not a big deal. But what we want to happen is exactly what we've got here. We want a nice thin tapered cuticle area, and we want a little bit more bulk right up into this stress area. And then we'll fill in this low spot right in through here, okay? And I got a little bit of product. I need just a little bit more right on that corner there. So I'm going to come in. Let me come out just a little bit here for you. There we go. So I'm going to pick up just a tiny, tiny little pearl right here. Just actually maybe even smaller. Just want to kind of fill in that edge. I didn't quite get my product right to that edge. So I'm just going to set that pearl down there and just kind of pivot my brush onto the side and just blend that little bit out. So that's going to be an easy way to kind of fill in those corners and in those sides if you missed it. Okay, not a big deal. Just, you guys, it's always important to know how to fix things. So if something doesn't go perfectly, you always know how to fix it, okay? All right, so we're going to pick up a second pearl here. Now on this one, let me come back out just a little bit. On this one, we want our consistency kind of in between our clay-like form that we used on our free edge and our more wet form like we used up on the nail body here. So instead of draining out all of the liquid from my pearl, I'm just going to give it a quick tap down onto my towel and drain out a little bit of the liquid. So again, kind of right in between those consistencies. So we're going to pick up our pearl. I'm going to just drain 1, 2, turn my brush around, and I'm going to drop that right in that low area, and I'm going to blend that product back up into that arch. So just kind of blending that up in there. Then I'll turn my brush around, and now I can use more of the belly of the brush to kind of start pressing that product, and then I can blend that down to my free edge. Okay. If you feel like you need one last pearl at the end, you can always add one more. That's totally fine. If you don't need one, you don't need one. Okay. I'm going to take a look here. So now again, if we look from the side, we've got that really good structure coming into place. Our cuticle area is still nice and thin and tapered. Our arch, our apex, is a little bit higher for that structure, for that thickness, and then flowing right back down to our free edge, nice and thin and tapered. Okay. And Matthew, no, this is not pre-recorded. Well, we will post this video back up on our YouTube channel, you guys. I think we will post this on our YouTube channel. Most of our videos we do repost for you. I'm not sure what we're doing with our spoiler videos, but I think this one will be reposted. But you guys, we have over 3,000 videos here on our YouTube channel for you to watch and learn. Just make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can get all of this great free education. And you guys, I just did one more tiny, tiny little pearl right at that free edge. So just to kind of blend that in, okay? All right, we're gonna let this nail set. We're gonna go on to a second nail. You guys are getting bonus nails today. Normally I do one, maybe two nails. We're doing two, and then we're gonna do some added design work at the end of this. So make sure you guys stick around through the whole video so you can see all of these different fun ideas and things that we're doing today. So I'm gonna switch my acrylic to our Speed Clear. So Speed Clear it's kind of one of my standard colors. It's one of my favorites that I use all the time. And I don't know what that little piece of something was in there. But Speed Clear it's a great clear acrylic, and I'm going to use this today for part of our design. Oh my gosh, Unfavorable Blondie, thank you, much appreciated. You guys are awesome today. Everybody's really being fantastic, so thank you so much. All right, you guys, same thing as we did on our first nail. We're going to take that little tab out of our form, put that right on the back. Again, pinch the two silver tabs together nice and even. Right there. Pinch the end of our form together. And then again, we are going to open up that top perforation. And then we're going to get that right back up underneath the nail. Actually, I'm going to kind of open that up just a little bit more. I'm going to give it just a little bit of a pinch. And then we'll get that right back up underneath the nail, starting kind of at that downward angle and lifting up until that nail until that form comes nice and straight out from that free edge. Okay. All right, you guys, I'm going to need your help on this one. I need you to make a decision for me. We've got a couple of different colors that we're going to be using here. So I need to know, do you guys want to see more blue tones or more red tones? I need you to put into the chat. Do you want to see more blue or more red? So just type into the chat blue or red. And that way I'll know what you guys want to see. Not black. We're not doing black today. Blue or red? Red, red, red. Blue, blue. Red, red, blue. Red. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of reds. A lot of reds. Okay, so we'll do the red tones today. And maybe we'll do blue tones another day. You guys all know that I love the blue tones, and today we're going to mix it up, I guess. So let's go back to our Speed Clear. We're going to do a similar technique as we did on the first nail by building out just that free edge to start. Okay. So again, we're going to grab a pearl of our Speed Clear. Same thing as we did on that first nail. I'm going to drain out that extra liquid onto my towel. I'm going to set that pearl right down at my free edge, wipe out my brush, use the belly of my brush to press that product out from side to side. Let me come in a little closer for you. Use the edge of my brush to tuck that side in, walk that up into the corner, tuck in on the side, and then I'm going to come all the way back across that nail. Use the edge of my brush, tuck that up into the side, tuck into the side, and now I'm going to come back across, evening that product out, and I'm going to start to pull that down into more of that almond shape, tucking in on those sides. Again, I'm going to pinch that form just a little bit more, tucking in on the side, tucking in on the side, creating that more tapered almond look on those edges. And again, just kind of making sure my product is nice and even all the way across. So again, this is just going to give us kind of a platform to work on and to put our design onto. And today we're going to just kind of be doing almost a watercolor kind of a look into our nail. Okay, so we're going to be using some of our colored acrylics on the nail, and anytime I put color or glitter or anything up onto that nail body up here, I always want to take just a small pearl of my clear, just a tiny little pearl, drop that right down at my cuticle area, and then just kind of blend that through that natural nail. What this is going to do, it's not going to really do anything for the design or anything like that, but it's just going to leave a protected layer or kind of a protective layer on that natural nail. So when I do go to change out my colors, I'm going to file that product down, and I'll only file down to that clear. I won't have to file all the way down to that natural nail or cause any damage, okay? So always start with that little bit of clear on that natural nail so that you don't damage the nail when you are changing out your designs. All right, you guys, so we're going to go with Garnet Glamour. And we're gonna go with, actually I'm gonna come back to my Cover Morganite, so that first color that I used on our first nail here. So we've got that one. And then we're also gonna add in just a touch of Amber Glow. And again, you guys, these are 3 of the new colors that are launched in the mystery box. Sorry, spoiler alert, I didn't say that ahead of time, but I think you guys are all okay with it. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna switch my brushes. So this one was a size 10 that I was using. I'm actually gonna switch over to my, let me grab my little other brush here. You guys, if you haven't seen this yet, this is our little brush holder, just a little cute little crown brush holder. So I'm just gonna leave my other brush sitting hanging out over there. But this is now our size 4 acrylic art brush. This is just a tiny little art brush, a tiny little acrylic brush. So with this one, I'm gonna be able to pick up really tiny little pearls of my acrylic. I'm gonna get in a little bit closer so you'll be able to see what I'm doing here. All right, let me come back in there. All right, so again, I'm gonna use my art brush here, and I'm just gonna start by picking up just some small, fairly wet pearls, just kind of touching those down onto the nail and just kind of letting the product almost melt out. Oh my gosh, Susie, thank you so much. Oh, you guys are amazing. So generous today. Oh my gosh, you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Gonna pick up another pearl of that Cover Morganite. And again, just kind of letting that monomer kind of allow my color to flow. And I'm just gonna kind of keep adding color wherever I feel like I wanna add color, and just kind of allowing that to blend. Let me come in a little bit closer so you can see exactly what's happening on the nail. There we go. So as I'm applying my pearls, they're just kind of blending out and keeping them very wet so they can just kind of come together, again, almost like a watercolor. And you can apply a little bit or a lot, just depending on what you want that color to look like. But again, just keeping that pearl a little on the wetter side so that it really kind of blends and flows. Just kind of tapping down in there. Oh my gosh, Benetta, you guys, thank you all so much. You are unreal, my goodness. You're all so much appreciated. I don't even know what to say. I will keep on doing our design work so you can keep on learning. So how's that? How's that for a fair trade? All right, you guys, again, just kind of tapping in small pearls of both of our colors. Now, notice I haven't gone to that amber color just yet. I'm going to kind of use that as a little bit more of an outline on some of these colors. So still just kind of picking up those smaller little pearls. And again, you guys, I love this art brush for kind of designs like this where I want to just pick up a little bit of product. I don't want too much all at once. So just tiny little pearls of this. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm seeing people that are subscribing. You guys, thank you for that. Oh, you guys, everybody is so generous today. And thank you just all for joining us. Thank you for being here with us. We appreciate you all so much. All right, so I think we're good with those 2 colors. And maybe just a little bit more. I think maybe I just need just a tiny little bit. Just a tiny little bit, you guys, and see that tiny little pearl that I'm able to pick up? Just a tiny little bit to get right up into those sides, right up into that cuticle area, making sure that I've got all of those areas covered, okay? Then I'm gonna bring in my Amber Glow. So we're gonna grab a little bit of that, and again, just tiny little pearls, just those tiny little pearls, just to kind of accent right around some of those areas, just to give a little bit more shine, a little bit more depth. And again, just kind of using that product fairly wet so that it just kind of blends in. All right, maybe just a little bit more of that Amber Glow right up top here. Okay, you guys, what do you think? Are you liking the colors? Janisha says, that's amazing. I'm glad you're enjoying it. You guys, I'm having so much fun with all of these new products that we've got out. It's always fun to have new colors and new things. You guys, I always feel like whenever we come out with new colors, to me, it's like I'm really just a kid on Christmas morning or whatever holiday morning. I celebrate Christmas, so I always feel like I'm a kid on Christmas morning. Just because it's new products, it's new toys, it's new things for us to play with as nail techs, and it's just a really fun way to kind of get your creativity going again. Just trying new things and new products, okay? Now, at this point, you guys, if you take a look at this nail, let me show you from the side here. Our nail is very, very thin. We don't really have any structure to that. All we have is kind of that shelf, or even a shell of a nail. What we want to do now is we want to build up, just like we did this one, we want to build up that structure so we have support on that nail. So just like we did our pearl from the cuticle forward here, we're going to pick up that pearl, we're going to set that down, we're going to build in our structure from the free edge back. So again, just like we overlaid this one is how we're going to finish up this nail. Okay, again, I'm going to go back to my Speed Clear. I'm going to go back to my size 10 brush, and then we're going to come in here. Lori Marie, yes, these brushes are so pretty. Oh my gosh, guys, I got fuzz on this one. But look at that gorgeous bling on the top of those. Don't you love that? So beautiful rose gold brush with that bling on top. All right, so we're going to grab our pearl of our Speed Clear. Okay, I'm going to wait 1, 2 couple of seconds there. I'm going to set that right down at my cuticle area, angling that finger down, but pressing out that product all the way around my cuticle area, letting that product flow down the length of the nail, maybe just kind of guiding it, helping it a little bit. Then I'm going to lift up, and I'm just going to blend out just the edge of that pearl, just the edge. Oh my gosh, Bonetta! Oh my gosh, you guys! Thank you, thank you. You are amazing. Much appreciated. So much appreciated. So again, if we take a look from that side, you're going to press down that cuticle area so that's nice and thin and tapered, bringing it up a little bit more into that arch area. And now we'll pick up our next pearl, and we will fill in that rest of that free edge. Again, this one we're just going to tap down a little bit of that extra liquid out, drop that right down in the low spot, blend back all the way, kind of pivoting my brush when I get to those sides, blending back, wipe out my brush. I'm going to use the body of my brush, kind of that fatter belly part of the brush, to press out that product all the way down and seal in my free edge. I feel like, again, on this one, I may add just a tiny little pearl right at that free edge, really to, oops, sorry guys, you can't even see that free edge, just to really make sure that I've encapsulated all of that color on the end. So another just small pearl, drain out a little bit of that liquid, turn my brush around and blend back. Now you guys, the reason that I turn my brush around and I blend backwards is that's going to help to kind of taper that free edge a little bit. If I pull in this direction, that's going to pull my product down to the end, and I'm going to end up with a little bit thicker on the end. If I turn my brush around and pull back, it's going to thin and taper that free edge and get that nice and tapered. So nice and thin right down there through the free edge, and then it's going to flow back up to that cuticle area. Okay, so now you can see that I've got my structure in here. We're going to do a little bit of filing. I want to check this, make sure everything looks good. Okay, I think we're good, but we're going to have to let this set. So while this one's setting, we'll go back and we will file out our first nail here. But let me always clean out your brush and close up your products. So let me close everything up before we do our filing. You guys, it's so important to keep your products closed so that as you are filing, you're not getting any dust into your product and contaminate it or anything like that. It's always important to make sure your brush is clean as well. So I'm going to take a clean table towel here. I had my brush kind of just sitting in my monomer for a little bit, and then we'll wipe that out, roll my brush back to a point, and just kind of give it a quick little dry right up through the ferrule. And then you'll see all of those bristles did go back into place. I know that there was one little bristle that was kind of poking out here, but just by keeping it soaking in my monomer and then rolling it back to that point, everything did come back to that nice tight point, okay? I know you guys trust the process. I know you want to see the nail filed out, but that second one does need to set. And I do need to put all of my products and things away so that I'm not contaminating them. So I understand you want to see the final look, but we gotta trust the process here, you guys. Trust the process. So I'm going to take my form off. I'm just going to pinch that underneath. We're going to release that form. Now again, this second one's still not quite set, so I'm going to leave that form on. I'm going to grab my dust collector here. You guys, I just had this plugged in, so it is fully charged up. So if you, again, you guys, this is our brand new blinged out dust collector from our Bling and Glam collection. To turn this on, it's got the dial here. So you can turn that dial. It's going to turn your speed on. If you want to just kind of pause it, just push the button and it'll pause. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera, but there's a little pause button there. So when you push that button, it'll pause it and it'll stay on that 10. Okay. We're going to get that right up in here. Now we're going to go back to that X-Cut carbide that I was talking about earlier, and this is where I am going to leave a little bit of that, kind of that stem out of my bit, or out of my handpiece, so that when we are working through the arch of the nail from here, I'm not going to be bumping into that little bit of acrylic. If I did have that all the way in, so what's going to happen is as I work through here, it's going to hit, actually let me tighten this back in here so I can really show you guys well. So again, if you have that bit all the way in and you're working on a longer nail like this, when I get to this point, you can see I'm not able to get the proper angle without my handpiece hitting. So I want to make sure that I leave a little bit of space, just a little bit more. So now as I work down the arch of the nail, that handpiece right here is not going to bump onto that nail. And I'm going to be able to get a nice smooth flow with my bit all the way through. Okay. So let's turn our electric file on. I'm going to turn it up to about 15,000 RPMs. Let me get my dust collector in here a little better. And I'm going to start by just kind of cleaning up on my perimeter. So on my left side, I'm going to pull down. I'm going to just come kind of around that free edge, maybe kind of taking that free edge just a little shorter. And then I'm going to push back on my right side. Okay, so pull down on the left, push back on the right, and kind of make a little U-turn right around that free edge. Okay, once you've got your perimeter kind of cleaned up, and again, you guys, it doesn't have to be perfect, so don't panic. Okay, I'm going to turn that nail onto the side. I'm going to look from the side view, and I'm going to straighten out my lower arch by pushing back on my right side. Okay, same thing on the left side. Now on the left side here, you guys, take a look at this. I really want you to see this actually. Let me turn that off for just a second here. So if you take a look at this nail from the side view, if we line our orange wood stick, you guys, it's just a little orange wood stick that I'm showing you here. So if we line our orange wood stick straight in line with this natural nail, but then going all the way back, let me come back out just a little, but going all the way back kind of straight in line with the finger, let me give you a better angle. There we go. You want to make sure that that lower arch right through here is coming straight out from that finger, straight out from that natural nail, and then straight out all the way through that end point right here, okay? So if you see, that's where I need to file. So everything that's being covered up by my orange wood stick, that's what needs to come off. So all of this product that's hanging down here, all of this stuff right down here needs to come off. So when I'm filing, I'm going to turn that nail on the side. Let me turn my dust collector back on, turn my e-file back on. So now I'm just going to come underneath there, pulling down, and just straightening that lower arch. Okay. Now I know I've got a little bit of product back here, and that's okay. I just don't want to be coming all the way back in there with this bit. I'm going to come back through here, and I'll take the rest of that down from this little corner here with my hand file, just to make sure that I'm not causing any pain or discomfort or cutting or anything like that into that sidewall. Okay, so that's going to be our kind of our perimeter. So again, our sidewalls and our free edge, and then those lower arches. Okay, next thing we're going to be filing is up around our cuticle area. So we're going to work right through that cuticle area to kind of thin and taper that down. Now take a look at the angle of my bit, you guys. I'm keeping my bit kind of parallel and flush down to that natural nail. I'm not angling up and trying to cut around here with this top part of my bit. So let me show you. So a lot of times people make the mistake that they try to use just this little part of the bit. You actually want to use pretty much the top 2/3 of your bit, and that's how you're going to get a nice smooth finish. If you end up angling up like this, that's just going to cut into that cuticle area, and it can cut down into that nail, okay? So make sure that you keep that bit parallel onto the nail and that you're not cutting up around the top like that, okay? Guys, make sure that if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so that you can continue to get all of this great free education. The more of you that subscribe, the more we are able to give you free education. So we appreciate it, you guys. Dana's asking, can't you get cut? I mean, you guys, you can get cut if you're working incorrectly at improper angles, improper speeds. But if you are working properly, like I'm showing you, this can be done very safely, okay? Now here's something that I'm going to show you. If you feel a little bit uncomfortable, if maybe you're a newbie and you're not quite comfortable with this straight edge up on top here, you can switch to your safety bit. So your safety bit, let me clean this one off really quickly here. You can use your safety bit, and this is the same bit as the X-Cut, so it's the same carbide grit. It just has that rounded top versus that straight across top, okay? So it's a personal preference for newbies. Again, if you feel more comfortable, you can use that rounded bit. And again, this is our safety bit course. So you can get right up into that cuticle area still, but it's not going to cut, it's not going to hurt or damage or anything like that, okay? Oh my gosh, Monty Pep, thank you, thank you. You guys, you are on a roll today. You are amazing. Thank you so much. So what I'm doing is I'm just coming basically from the center down to the side. I'm not coming all the way across. Let me turn this on. I'm just going to turn this on the side here really quick. Turn my dust collector down for just a second. So what I'm doing is I'm coming from the center over to the side. I'm not coming all the way from side to side, because what happens is when you're working from this view, and you guys, what you're seeing right here is exactly what I'm seeing. This is the exact way that I'm looking at the nail. If I bring my bit all the way over here and it starts to disappear behind that nail, I can't see where that's going. And a lot of times what happens is you're going to end up going too far over. You're going to catch that client's skin, and it's going to basically wrap around, and that could cut their skin underneath here. So make sure that you're just staying on the surface. Let me turn my collector back on. You're staying on the surface and working from the center over to the side. Now I know you guys are probably thinking, well, how do I get the rest of this over here? Once you can see that arch that you like, that you can see that it's nice and thin and tapered, you got your proper thickness here, nice and thin down the free edge, we're going to turn that finger. We're going to look straight down the barrel. Let me adjust here. So we're going to look down the barrel of the nail. Now you can see where we've already filed right through that center area. Now we're just going to pull the bit towards myself, and that's how we're going to thin out and take down the bulk from those sides. Because we don't want to go through here, through that top area anymore, because we've already cleaned that up. So all we're doing is working through our sides to take down the bulk and contour that all the way through. Now, once you have the bulk down on the sides, then a lot of times I will just go all the way through, kind of up and over, and then down to that side to really make sure that everything is blended well, so that I don't have any high spots or low spots, and everything is nice and even. So you guys now take a look at this. Maybe just a little bit more right through there. But now you can see how much more even that surface is and how nice of a rounded kind of a contour we've got, okay? So I think we're about good there. Let's go ahead and take our form off our second nail here, and we'll do that same exact procedure on this nail. So just like we did before, I'm starting on my left side, pulling down, kind of make that U-turn around my free edge, push back on my right side, straightening everything out. And then again, we'll turn the nail on the side. We're going to look from the side view here, straighten out that lower arch. Same thing on the other side. Hold down to straighten out that lower arch. Okay, and again, we're going to turn that nail to look from the side view. We're going to work up around that cuticle to get that nice and thin. And then we're going to look from that side, working right down the center of our arch, getting that apex right in there, thinning and tapering that free edge, back up to that cuticle. And then once we've got our arch placed how we want it. I think we're looking good there. Then we can turn back again, looking straight down the barrel, thinning and tapering on those sides. Get that little chunky monkey out from underneath there. Again, on the side. So on my right side, I'm using the base part of my bit, kind of that bottom area of the bit. On my left side, I'm using the top part of my bit. And then I'm going to pull all the way through. So top part of my bit, up into the middle of my bit, down to the base of my bit, all the way from side to side. And we've got that nice taper. Okay. Kay's asking, what bit am I using? I'm using right now, this is our safety bit coarse. So you could use either the safety bit coarse or the X-Cut carbide. They are both the same grit, but they're just different if you feel a little bit more comfortable using that rounded top versus that flat top. Okay, so safety bit coarse or X-Cut carbide, either one is going to work great for you. Now I'm going to switch back to my sanding band. So this is the same bit that I was using when we prepped the nails. What I'm going to use this one for is just kind of refining now. So I'm going to turn my speed down to about 7,000 RPMs, and we're going to just go through exactly those same motions that we just did with our X-Cut or our safety bit, but it's just going to help to kind of refine our nail just a little bit more so that I have less filing to do with my hand file. And I always talk about the fact that it's going to be easier to file with your electric file than it is to be filing with your hand file. So I do as much of my filing with my electric file as possible, and then I will switch over to my hand file to make things just a little bit easier. Okay. So again, same thing, up around my cuticle area, getting it nice and thin and tapered, all the way around, working from that side view, contouring over that arch through that apex down to my free edge, getting everything nice and smooth and even. And you guys notice that as I work, I come across and I pick up my bit, across, pick up my bit. I don't just leave that bit on there, because if you leave that bit on there, what that's going to do is that's going to start to build up heat, and that with that constant friction is going to build up heat on your client's nail. So you want to make sure that you're keeping your bit kind of lifted so that you're not just grinding away on that nail. Okay, so work in one direction. It's going to keep the heat to a minimum, and it's also going to help to keep a little bit better control of your handpiece. Okay? All right, going to clean up that lower arch just a little bit more. Maybe a little bit here. And you guys, I always feel a little bit more comfortable going a little farther back with my sanding band, because the sanding band, it's not going to cut. Okay? It doesn't have that sharp edge like the X-Cut bit does. So you can kind of get a little bit closer in on those sidewalls. Somebody's asking, what speed am I using? With this bit right now, I've got this on about 7,000 RPMs. Okay, we'll go ahead and I'm actually going to grab a brand new file here, you guys. My file that I've been using on my trainer hand here is a little bit worn down, so I'm going to grab a new file. And anytime you get a new file, always make sure, you guys, I always have my prep file here. I have it labeled prep, so that's all that I use this file for. But make sure that you go through and take off the sharp edges from your file. Anytime you get that new file, you got to take those sharp edges off so that you don't cut yourself or your client in that filing process. Okay, so always make sure to do that. And then we're good to go. Now, at this point, all we need to do is just refine. So all I'm going to do is kind of use my file nice and straight along that edge, rounding in my almond shape a little bit. Notice how I put a little bit of pressure on my file with my pointer. That's going to help me get really good even pressure all the way through. Okay, same thing on my other side, pressure, rounding out that free edge. And I'm not going to worry too much about the shaping of my free edge at this point. I'll show you how to finish that in just a second here. But we're going to turn that nail on the side, straighten out that lower arch, again making sure that's straight in line with the finger, straight in line with that nail that's growing out there. Turn that onto the other side, and this is where we're going to catch that little corner there. Now you guys, here's the thing. So many people like to try to come underneath that corner and then file back up in there. Do you see what an angle that is versus here? We want to keep our file straight. So all I'm going to do is just kind of come underneath there, straight out with that free edge, and that little kind of hangy thing, that's going to be gone. Okay? So don't angle your file into that corner and try to cut. You're going to notch out that corner. So keep your file straight underneath that lower arch, and you're going to be just fine. Okay, we're going to do around our cuticle area. So we're going to thin taper that, kind of rounding around the edges. Come back out a little bit. Again, kind of coming up around that edge. So up and around, up and around, up and around. Same thing on our right side, kind of down and around, down and around. And again, just kind of rounding out that edge. Okay, I'm going to turn this finger and look kind of from the side view. I'm going to put pressure at my free edge, and I'm going to file backwards, just like we were talking about with our brush. When you file backwards, you're going to thin and taper out that free edge and get that really nice arch placement. Okay, I think we are just about good there. I'm going to just kind of check this from underneath from my down the barrel. Do you guys see how there's that little bit of an opening at the end? I want to make sure that we basically have a closed end and that both of my lower arches are even from side to side. So I'm kind of coming underneath that free edge. All right, so now do you see how it's nice and flat right under there? We don't have like that curved opening. That's going to show me that my lower arches are both even. Okay? All right, again, I still haven't completely fixed that shaping. We're going to come back to that at kind of our last step, where we're going to do the same things here on our second nail. We're going to straighten out that side walls there, straighten out my side walls, kind of check that shape just a little bit, turn that nail on the side. We're going to get that lower arch, straighten that out. Same thing on the other side. Clean up that lower arch, starting at our free edge, working back towards that little corner area so that we don't notch that back out. I'm going to turn that finger back around, work up around our cuticle area, get that thinned, tapered, tapering in our sides, up and over. Same thing back down around the other side, rounding out that right side. And then one more time looking from the side, blending backwards to taper in that free edge. All right, I think we're good there. One last check down the barrel, making sure that those lower arches are nice and even. All right, you guys, I think we're good there. Now, last thing before we move on to our next art is we're going to check our nails from the client's perspective. So I'm going to turn their client's hand around. We're going to check our shaping from this direction, make sure everything is nice and straight and even. And this is where I'm really going to focus on that free edge. So that point area, like I was telling you before, I don't normally worry too much about it when it's from the other direction, but this is where I'm really going to perfect that shaping. I'm also going to look backwards down the barrel. And this is going to show me any high spots, any low spots, lumps or bumps. Let me come in there for you guys. So I'm going to be able to kind of just flow my file all the way through that whole surface, making sure everything is nice and smooth, nice and even, nice and contoured, no lumps or bumps. And I'm kind of looking and rocking that nail back and forth so that you can kind of see all the way through the whole length of that nail. And I think just about good here. All right. Okay, I think we're good there. One last final check on my shape. All right, I'm liking that. Now, before I shape this second one, if I'm working on a set here, I will check my length first. You guys can see this one looks like it's just a little bit longer than this one. So before I even do any shaping, I'm going to take that length down so that they're just about even. So that way when I do my final shaping, I know that my nails are going to be all of the same length or proportionate how I want them, how I want the length. Okay, so I think that's about right. So again, we'll finish up our shaping here, checking our sides, checking that free edge, And then we're gonna look backwards down the barrel, making sure everything is nice and smooth and even. All right, I think we are good there. All right, you guys. Normally at this point, I would say it is time for top coat, but I've got some other fun things to show you guys today. So we're not going to top coat these just yet, but I am going to clean them off, get all of that dust off of there, and I'm actually going to change out my table towel here. So I'm going to take off the top one, get all of that dust off, because we're going to be doing some stamping. We're going to do some other fun designs on these nails. And I want a nice clean surface that I can work on here, okay? We're gonna go into our swipe one more time, pump a little bit of that onto our brush. We're gonna dust that nail off, dust that one off. And then, all right, you guys, here we go. So in the Brook AB box, we've got a whole bunch of great polishes. We've got some stamps. You guys, I'm gonna just really quickly show you the polishes. And okay, you guys, I'm going to give you a heads up. I have old packaging on some of them. So if you see the word caption, disregard that. It is YN polish. So we've got some beautiful colors in that kit for you. And all of these different colors come in the kit. You guys, I'm not going to go through all of the different colors, but you can see that we've got some great colors. What I will tell you is my favorites for stamping are the black, the white, the silver, and the gold. I love to use those all of the time. Those are kind of my go-to colors, but all of the rest of these colors that are in the kit and all of the rest of our YN polishes work really well for stamping. The reason that I love these polishes for stamping is because they're so fast drying and they're so pigmented. So they work really, really well for stamping, okay? Now, also in the Brook AB box, you get this super cute, I can't zoom out any farther here, you guys, so there we go. You get this super cute stamp plate holder, just a little 3-ring binder for your stamping plates, and you get 4 different stamping plates in the collection, okay? So I'm just gonna grab this one. Now notice on this one is silver, where the rest of these are blue. Let me show you the reason why. When you get your stamping plates, it does have a protective film on it, so just go through and you can either, don't use your nails, you guys. I'm being a bad nail tech right now. Use your cuticle pusher or something to kind of pull that away, and then you can peel off that blue plastic covering. It's just a film to kind of protect them in shipping. So we've got some beautiful designs for stamping. Let's see, you guys, I want to show you something. Actually, let's go ahead and stamp this one first. And I just want to catch that little edge there. Okay, so before I do my stamping, I am going to do one more coat of my protein bond. And you guys, yes, the Brook AB box, I believe it is, moderators, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's $89.95. And I will tell you at this point, they announced yesterday that they were on kind of the last the last amounts of them. So the Brook AB box will most likely sell out. So if you guys are, if you're needing this product, get on the website as soon as we're done here and get your shopping done. But all right, we just did one more coat of our protein bond to give that nail a good kind of a tacky surface for our polish to adhere to and our top coat to adhere to. I'm going to go ahead and protein bond our second nail here as well. So we're going to go ahead and grab our stamper. Now in the kit, you also get the little box with your scraper card and your clear stamper. You guys, the clear stamper has a plastic cover on it, so you can always keep that nice and clean. It does have a plastic cover on the back here as well. I will warn you guys, be careful with acetone because acetone will cloud up this, this plate. So don't get any acetone on this. And it's okay, you don't need acetone because we also have our super cute stamping cleaner tool. Let me take this one out really quick. So what this is inside here, it's got a little cover. Actually, this is a brand new one. I haven't used it yet, I don't think. Take that off, open that up, and it's just kind of like a lint roller. So I'm going to peel off. Again, I'm going to use my tools, Karen, not your nails. So it's got kind of that protective cover on there as well. So you want to make sure that you take that part off. So just peel that off. All right, you guys, it shouldn't be this hard. It really isn't this hard. I don't know why I'm making this hard today. All right, let me just grab my scissors here quick. Actually, a nipper. I'm good. All right, so that's just going to peel off, and that's going to give you a nice clean place to clean off your stamper on. So once you open that up, I always like to give it just kind of a pre-clean just to make sure that there's no dust on there or anything like that. And then let's grab our stamper. And you guys, okay, so on this nail, I was thinking if we have this red on here, we've got some beautiful flowers on this plate. We've got some gorgeous roses. So I think I'm going to do a rose design over this. Now, when I'm choosing colors, depending on what I want, a lot of times, like I said, black and white, silver and gold are usually my go-tos. If you want a more bold look, the black and white are going to be kind of your best bet. If you want a little bit more shimmer, you want just a little bit of a tone down, that silver and the gold are going to work really well for you. But again, all of those other colors in the kit are going to work really well for stamping also. I think on this one, because it's got a little bit of that gold shimmer in some of these colors, I am going to go with our gold. And this one is called Eat My Dust. So I'm going to get that one shaken up. Now I am going to grab one of those little table towels that I've cut up. I'm just going to use that. I'm going to also grab my Onto the Next polish remover. This is an acetone-based polish remover. And this is what I'm going to use to clean my stamping plate. So when you take that plastic film off, I always like to give it a good clean with the polish remover just to get any residue off. And then also by using the table towels, they're a very good lint-free wipe. Sometimes I feel like if I use the little lint-frees, sometimes they can kind of catch in that plate. So I like to use those table towels instead. That's going to give you a nice clean surface. Now, as you're stamping, it's kind of a process that you have to be prepared for, and you have to have everything ready to go because you do want to kind of work quick. These polishes do set very fast, so if you wait too long, you're not going to get a good stamp. So let me make sure that everything is in here where I want it so that you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. And then we can get a nice little bit closer. Okay, so we've got our nail ready to go. I've got my stamp ready to go. All right, you guys, make sure you're watching because, again, it goes quick. Okay, so I'm going to take my polish. I'm going to just kind of drag that across, a good amount of it. You don't want to be too skimpy with it. And we're going to swipe, wipe, stamp. Pick up that stamp so you can see that's now on my stamper. And I can actually look through that base plate and set that stamp right down onto our nail. So I give it kind of a good press. You can see I'm really kind of pressing that stamp down on there and lift up, and you're good to go. Okay. Now, you do see there is a little bit of kind of product around the edges. You guys, I actually have, this is one of our old art brushes, and it's just a small brush, similar to what the art brush is that we just launched, but this is an old brush, and I just use this one for kind of cleaning up around the edges. So I'm going to take a little bit more of my, whoops, wrong way there, you guys. I'm going to take a little bit more of that Onto the Next polish remover, and I just kind of pump that up into that top little cup. Let me see if I can, there you go. So now you can see what I'm doing here. So pump a little bit of that up into that top cup. So you can see there's a little bit of that polish remover in there. And then I can use that to just clean around the edges. Now, I don't worry too much about all of that polish up around the skin. I just kind of go through and break any of that stamp away so that there's a good kind of a seal around the edge. Take a little bit more of that polish remover. And again, you guys, just an old art brush works really good for this, okay? Or an old lipstick brush. Don't use a used lipstick brush, get a new one, but an old brush just to kind of clean up around that edge. And then we can seal this with our top coat. we're going to wait on the top coat for just a second here because I want to show you a couple other things really quick. And then we'll do our top coat so you guys can get to shopping. But on this nail, on our first nail, so you can see on our stamping plates, these are large so that you can work on these longer nails and you'll still get that really good full coverage. But what if you want to do maybe just like the free edge or just kind of a smile line look? Here's my little trick that I like to do. I'm going to take one of my forms, take that little tab out of the center. So we're not actually going to use the form on this. We're going to use that little tab. Now if you take that little tab, let me come in a little closer for you. We're going to stick that tab, make sure that it's lined up nice and straight. And I'm using the bottom part, but depending on what you want your smile line to look like, if you want a more elongated smile line, use the bottom. If you want just more of a shallow smile line, turn it around and use the top. So we're going to take that. I'm going to stick that right down onto my nail. Get that good and stuck down on there. And then let's take, you know what, let's try here's the deal. This is a red. Since we've got red on the other ones here, I'll show you this one. And let's do, how about this design right down here? We're going to go with that. So let's grab that. And let me come back out so you can see what I'm doing here. Again, I'm going to take my stamper. Now I have a little bit of that design from the last time on there. I'm going to take my little roller here, just kind of roll off, and all of that extra polish is going to stick down to that little cleaner part. Okay. We've got our stamper, we've got our wipe, we've got our card here. So again, we're going to take our polish, drop that down. We're going to scrape. We're going to stamp. We're going to look through. We're going to line that up. We're going to set that right down over that stamp or over that form. Now we've got our stamp on there. We're going to come in. We're going to peel off our form. And now we've got that just on our free edge. If you guys feel like you need to, if there's a little touch up that needs to be done, you can go back to that art brush that you had or whatever you normally use for cleaning up smile lines or anything, and you can kind of touch that up around those edges if you need to. Okay, so just something kind of fun to change it up. I'm going to top coat these, and you guys, depending on what top coats you like to use, you can use the Manicure top coat, you can use the conversion top coat, stain resistant. Again, you guys, I'm going to go back to my ultimate finish just because it's my favorite, because it's quick, it's easy, and you guys can go ahead and start the top coat chant in the chat, but we're not done yet. Oh no, we've got more to talk about today. So I'm going to top coat these two nails. We'll get those into the light to cure, and then I've got just a couple other things that I want to show you, just some fun little ideas. And oh, and I forgot, I was going to show you guys the confetti colors today too. So don't miss out on that. Stick around here for a little bit longer. We're going to top coat these, and then I'll show you those other fun little things that we've got going on. Now with our ultimate finish, this is a tack-free top coat, so it's going to cure fully in the light for 60 seconds. It's going to be tack-free when it comes out of the light. Sorry guys, let me get that into the light there. And I'll show you what I've got going on here. So on this side, I've got my light set to 60 seconds. So that's going to just cure in there for a full 60 seconds. Now, one other fun thing that I like to do with my stamping plates is to use multiple colors. So we've got these beautiful, what are they called? Butterflies. We got beautiful butterflies on here. So something you can do, we'll grab two colors here. So we've got blue and we've got, let's see, so we've got, what is it? All Skill, No Luck and Hello and Goodbye. So if you take both of these colors, let me come in a little bit closer so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. Ooh, maybe that was a little too close. There we go. And I'm going to turn here just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to take two colors, take a little bit of that darker blue and a little bit of our lighter blue. And I'm actually going to grab And you guys, this is just kind of a frayed out old art brush. Just going to kind of blend those together a little bit. And then, oops, I got to clean off my stamper here real quick. So let me clean that off real quick. We're going to come back in. We're going to swipe. We're going to pick up. So now you can see, I hope you can see. There you can kind of see a little bit better. I did kind of miss a little edge right in there, and it's because I didn't get quite that smooth pull. It kind of caught there. So make sure that you are pulling smoothly, but that's why that little line through the center is there. But this is how you can get kind of color fades and ombres with your stamping. So just by taking a little bit of each color, blend them together right in the middle, and then swipe through them, and you can see we've got that beautiful kind of two-tone color that we can stamp onto the nail. So let me show you. I'm going to just put this right onto our cleaner here. So that's what it's going to look like once it goes onto the nail. Again, you guys, the reason that there's this little part missing right through here was because when I scraped, let me bring this back up. This is kind of a trick that you got to make sure that you're doing. When I scraped, I kind of stopped and it caught just a little bit. Make sure that you're going nice and smooth all the way across, okay? That's going to give you that really good even pull, and it's going to get your color nice and even, and you won't end up with those little gashes in the middle or anything like that, okay? So that is one fun little trick that you can do and kind of add into your stamping. Oh, really quickly, you guys, I had a lot of requests yesterday. Was that yesterday? I think that was yesterday, to see what was in the glitter collection. So I just really want to quickly show you guys that, because I know you guys are loving this and I'm loving this. So I'm going to show you this really quick before I show you our final look on our nails. But the glitters or the confettis in this kit, 2, 4, 6, there's 12 of them in there. So this one is Electro Echo. And you guys, I'm not going to swatch these out, but I am just going to show you what they look like, so you can kind of get a good idea of what they look like. So this is, we've got 2 different golds. Let me see if I can find the other one here. So this one is more of a yellow gold, but again, it's got that hologram to it. And all of these colors have the different sizes in there. So kind of a small, medium, and large size in there. So that one again is the more yellow gold. And then we have a more champagne kind of a gold. And this one is Stellar Stroll. So a little bit of a softer gold. Like I said, a little bit more champagne-y kind of color. Again, you can see in the cap there. Susie's asking, will the Brooke AB box come back or sold out once it's gone for good? You guys, at this point, all of these new launches, we cannot say for sure if they will come back or not. I'm guessing that the Brooke box will be a limited edition. So if you guys are wanting this, I would definitely get over to the website, shop as soon as you can before they do sell out, because no guarantees if they are going to be back on stock at all, okay? Let's see, which one was this one? You guys, this is my favorite color. You'd think I know. Dreamy Drizzle. Dreamy Drizzle is kind of that teal, beautiful, shimmery, little bit of blue tones in there, some green tones in there. Let's see. Lizzie, I want pretties. Yes, you guys, I want all of these pretties too. They are so fun. They are absolutely gorgeous. I keep forgetting to look at the names, you guys. Sparkle Surge. And this one is, it's kind of a dark silver, like a really deep silver, almost like a gray, if you will, but kind of a, I don't know. It's not black, it's not gray, it's not silver. It's kind of a mix of all of those. But then it still has that hologram in the glitter. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at that. Look at that reflecting in the cap there. All of those different colors. I love it. Gunmetal, Carolyn, thank you. Gunmetal, that was the exact word I was looking for. Thank you, thank you. All right, this one is Chill Charm, and maybe that's what I need right now, Chill Charm. Calm down, Karen. All these fun, beautiful colors. So this is kind of a peachy, kind of a, not quite orange, but I would say I would go with peachy. Peachy is kind of a good description on that one. And then we've got, let's see, this one is Flash Frost. You guys, this one, oh, this is going to be gorgeous. We were talking about snowflakes and things yesterday. This one is going to be absolutely beautiful for those winter designs, for those, you know, snowflakey kind of designs and icicle kind of designs. I love this one. This is going to be so fun for winter. And then we've got another blue, and this is going to be good for those icy kind of too. Oh wait, let me see the name of this one. This one is Bubble Burst. And definitely winter vibes with this one too, Lizzie. You got it. So again, that softer blue. Really gorgeous on that. And then what else do we have? We've got Urban Utopia. And ooh, you guys, this is that fiery orange. Kind of, this is, I know in some areas the leaves have changed, the leaves have fallen off the trees, but you guys, this is a beautiful fall leaf color. And again, you see all of those different colors that reflect on that hologram. It's going to go great with all of these different colors. Burnt orange. Yes, Lisa, burnt orange. Lizzie, Halloween. We're past Halloween, but if you're still doing Halloween nails, definitely bring that one out. Oh, cinnamon, KK. Yeah, I like that, cinnamon. And we've got Vivid Voyage. Vivid Voyage, kind of that soft, rosy, pinky. Yeah. I feel like this one's a little bit more of a softer, a little more delicate kind of a color. What is it? The mindful and demure, all of that nonsense. But yes, Lizzie, looks like bubblegum. It may look like bubblegum on camera. It's a little bit more rosy than what I would say is bubblegum. And not quite rose gold though, not quite rose gold. Let's see. All right, you guys, here is one that is going to be amazing for Christmas and for the holidays. This one is Dazzle Drift. This is going to be your Christmas red. This is right on for Christmas. Love that one. I think that one is probably going to go really quickly from my collection here because, again, this is going to go great for the holidays. Love that one. Love that one. And we got two more. We've got Radiant Rave. Ah, you guys, I love this one. It's kind of that purpley fuchsia with a little bit of that blue in there and even a fiery kind of a red in there. Yes, I love this one too. This is absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, do you see how that red and the blue and the purple all kind of reflect in there with that fuchsia? All right, you guys, last one. And then you got to let me know which one is your favorite. Let me know in the chat so far which one has been your favorite. And this one is Galactic Groove. Galactic Groove. All right, and that is that deep purple with just a kind of that hint of blue and that, again, that kind of fuchsia kind of popping in there. And you guys, I love these because depending on what angle you look at them, you can see that you see so many different colors reflecting in there. But absolutely gorgeous. All right, you guys, I think that was it. Did I do this one? I did that one too. So you guys, those are all of our gorgeous confetti colors that come in. Let me think. These are in, I believe these are in the acrylic mystery box. Moderators, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe these are the acrylic mystery box as well. So all of these gorgeous colors. And let me get the rest of these in camera so you can kind of see those. So hopefully you guys can see, whoops, let me turn these a little bit there. You can see these better on the side there. I'll come in a little closer. All right, so you guys can see all of those, and I'm guessing that you want to see our finished look with our stamping designs. Now, if you guys have a little bit of that color still around the edge, just grab a lint-free wipe and a little bit of polish remover, and you can just come around the edge, clean up any of that last little bit of polish that may have been on the skin. But this was why I went through with my cleanup brush around the edge to kind of break that seal so that I don't have to get that polish remover all the way up into the cuticles or anything like that. So again, these are our two beautiful designs that we did with our colored acrylics and our stamping plates from our Brooke AB box. The colored acrylics are from the mystery box, the acrylic mystery box. And yes, I did gel top coat these ones with the ultimate finish top coat. So you guys, there are some fun designs that you can do with all of these products. Like I said, jump over to our website quickly. I'm sure the Brooke AB box is probably going to be selling out fairly soon, so make sure you jump over, grab that. Let's see, what else do I need to tell you? The rest of the sale will be going until December 2nd, but you guys, a lot of these deals, a lot of these blowouts, a lot of these The Brook box and the mystery boxes could potentially sell out. So jump over there, grab your goodies, and happy shopping. And you guys, happy Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. And thank you all for being here. Thank you for those of you that donated to our channel. We appreciate you. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can get all of this free education going forward. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you back next week. Thanks, everybody.